Oh my gosh, it looks so amazing, you guys. I love it. Well, listen, I gotta go talk now. Be sustainable. You could. It was so amazing. Great job, you guys. Yeah, bye. See you. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's so nice to see you. Sorry about that. I was just hanging out with my team, the CFS team at the Grand Palais in Paris. It was so wonderful. Gosh, I love Digital Utopia. How many of you have heard of that before? Well, to some, it's what we've always dreamt about. It's some fictional place powered by magic, curiosity, and our boundless imaginations. It's free and friction-free, and life is perfectly balanced. Society is happy, and sustainability is always possible. Some people believe it's right in front of our eyes right now. But you know what? It raises many questions like how will we work, live, love, shape our education and governmental structures, and have a positive and healthy fashion industry in the future. Hi, I'm Patrick Duffy, and this past year I've become so fascinated by the future of digital reality. I've learned about an exhibition in Berlin that looks at these very questions. Having a profound impact on me, I thought I would share a little video to set the stage for our conversation. It addresses the opportunities and challenges that digital technology presents in the future through an exhibition called 2040. So I'm going to try to do a screen share now. Okay. Working? All right, here we go.
We live in a world of complex change. Digitalization, globalization, and climate change are out of control. How can we leave behind this perilous and find new answers? Welcome to 2040. Step out of the life in which you are entrapped at work.
Imagine this was something you saw on a regular basis.
The big outcry about privacy regulations began in the early 2000s. In this technological era, emotions can be easily translated into code.
Love demands renouncement.
All that humans are is being captured in your own algorithms.
Do you really think humans will ever stop striving for innovation?
This urge for optimization already started in 2020 and it will lead us nowhere.
You can carry out almost any task by simply talking to machines.
Hey, snap out of it.
Do you think this is real?
You've been diagnosed with dementia. It is totally normal for you to not remember.
Can I get out of this now, please?
Save your breath. Fingerprinting is now the only way to prove your existence.
I don't think that I can handle this.
Makes sense after dozens of future dystopias.
How was your experience in the simulation?
Wow, that's intense. Digital utopia might also be called technological utopianism. It is an ideology built on a belief that technology has the ability to solve any kind of problem, which would enable people to live in some sort of utopia. Curious? Me too. And since the dawn of civilization, humankind has always indulged in envisioning a perfect future where all present issues are solved. To put this into context, before all this digital stuff, there was the age of reason, an era that gave humanity a new certainty. Why? Because there were no gods or goddesses to turn to for answers or make our dreams come true. From there, society shifted to science-based fact and reasoning. Technology was introduced years later with things like the internet, computers, video games, and then things like full-length feature films, which gave the idea that a digital universe was limitless and that this will be the new way forward for humankind, aka digital utopia. Don't worry though, you're not all going to suddenly pixelate and live life in some 3D video game. But according to Rob Kling, one of the fathers of social informatics, technological utopianism or digital utopia does not actually refer to a set of technologies, but rather an analysis in which the use of specific technologies plays a key role in shaping a utopian social vision, in which their use easily makes life enchanting, fabulous, and liberating for nearly everyone. Sounds good to me. But why is this so important? Because it was the birth of so many new ideas. For instance, the idea of living in what is called a post-scarcity world, meaning a world where vital resources are never limited to anyone, thus making things like war or conflict unnecessary. Or in the medical field, people believe it will allow us to reduce or even eliminate pain or death. In the case of fashion, this could mean that fashion is created and produced in a way that has people and creativity as a central framework with no negative impact on people or planet. This all sounds great, doesn't it? But let's look at where we are now. I think 7 people in the world might agree with me when I say this. It is an unprecedented and utterly life-changing year for everyone. The coronavirus shook the world and has had amplified and disastrous effects, especially in the fashion industry, which is a continuous cycle of systemic racism, gender discrimination, poverty, and other social issues, mixed with overproduction, overconsumption, and waste that's destroying the earth and oceans. That's a mouthful. The fact is, the industry was already at a tipping point before, and now coronavirus has pushed it over the edge. There wasn't a single brand, high street or luxury, sustainable or not, that has not been forced to stop, slow down, and rethink. Hundreds of thousands of brands closed down stores. Millions of garment workers left with no money to live and feed their families because many brands decided to cancel orders instead of taking care of people. And what about how many completely canceled all of their fashion shows? Those energy-guzzling spectacles that draw millions of eyeballs to see beautiful models strutting down a runway in real time, all canceled. But there's always a reaction to an action, right? While all this was happening, the humans who still had some cash to spend were still consuming fashion. E-commerce sales have soared, even as retail stores were struggling to be reopened. But from an optimist's eye like mine, the pandemic has caused a major shift that nobody could predict. It has further accelerated the digital shift for communicating, learning, gathering, shopping, designing, and more. And the fashion industry is fully embracing it. Some who are rising to the occasion and pivoting hard into the world of virtual, extended, and augmented reality are pioneers on the pathway to a potentially perfect utopian world. Say that 5 times. But what does a perfect fashion industry look like? Hard to say, but to me, it has these things. Happy workers who are skilled and thriving in all parts of the supply chain, using materials that are regenerative and good for people and planet, creating zero-waste business models that produce from food waste or CO2 from the air, or innovating biomaterials. It also needs to have that feel appeal, meaning we want it to be inspiring and inclusive and also innovative. Community is also very important. We have learned so much in our new normal of lockdown, social distancing, and life on Zoom that we are pretty much always stronger together. Do you think a digital fashion utopia is possible? Complete with inclusivity, transparency, zero waste, and more, and we can address systemic social issues, the climate catastrophe, overproduction, overconsumption, and more? Maybe the technologies that are here right now can actually make companies future-proof, providing them with a massive competitive advantage. If you are a designer or brand, imagine virtual stores that merchandise themselves, complete with unique collections digitally designed for a specific location and are wearable on an avatar, which then can be 3D printed in your home. Or send that pattern to a community of weavers who will use textile waste or e-waste or even food waste to create something new to you and perfectly fit for your specifications. Fashion shows will be immersive, productions will be zero waste, model castings will always be inclusive, and everyone will have the ability to access a designer's dream. How we come together will also radically transform. As an example, this year, I'm proud to share that gaming company Unity Technologies, AltSpace VR, and Oculus partnered with the Circular Fashion Summit and created a visionary, first of its kind summit all in VR. We also partnered with the iconic Grand Palais in Paris and digitally recreated the architecture down to the last nut and bolt as the new meeting place for the future of fashion. We also set the goals for every participant to help them achieve sustainable metrics on blockchain, providing them with tools and information to help them achieve a fully circular brand and business model. Pretty magnificent. And in Digital Utopia, fashion shows will use creativity and ingenuity as our guides. Picture this. You could be deep in the blue sea among life-size whales swimming all around you with all models of shapes and all models, shapes, and sizes. Models of all shapes and sizes and genders present in the collection. Imagine being able to customize the sizing of the garments as they walk towards you through the presentation so you can see how the creations fit on many beautiful body types. Until recently, the fashion industry has been tiptoeing into the digital fashion space. What I mean is, brands that were embracing digital would create one-to-one identical virtual copies of their store environments and their clothing collections. This at one time was far beyond the imagination, but now it's kind of like an iPhone 3 because of how quickly we've advanced this past year. We're now using technology to create environments that defy gravity and go beyond our wildest dreams. What is so exciting is that everything is possible when you go from physical to digital. For stores and shopping, we all know that the customer experience is extremely important. And with the opportunity to create anything anywhere, we're just starting to utilize that potential. Not only for consumers, but for brands utilizing 3D store environments for their B2B wholesale and merchandising processes too. They run their businesses with it. What does that even mean though? Well, from a sustainability standpoint of view, XR, extended reality, VR, virtual reality have many benefits for large fashion companies. If we take Nike, for example, they have almost completely gotten rid of their physical, dedicated mock-up stores when selling to buyers and wholesale accounts. Instead of having many physical features filled with thousands of physical garments, they have pivoted to large television screens that show interactive virtual flagship stores merchandised to the exact needs of each market, reducing waste, carbon footprint, and much, much more. A pioneering company that knows how to make 3D look good is a digital fashion house called The Fabricant, which has created lifelike, high-quality 3D versions of high fashion items. They were actually the first to sell a 3D garment for $9,500 US. Keep in mind though, this piece of clothing cannot be worn, touched, or even seen unless you are looking at the screen or through your XR VR goggles. If this concept seems foreign or strange to you, ask any 12-year-old if they've ever spent their allowance on virtual clothing for a game called Skins. It's one of their favorite video games. It's most likely everyone who plays the game Skins has purchased a digital piece of clothing for their online characters. This means we can credit the gaming industry for a big push to the transition from physical to digital fashion. Who knew? Let's talk about revenue. The game Fortnite makes millions and millions of dollars selling virtual clothing, shoes, accessories to all those online characters. If you are a designer or a brand, wouldn't you want to be designing for a video game? Could that provide you with the money and capital you need to help you live and run your business in the physical world? That's interesting. I think it could. Italian fashion house Moschino thinks so. They just designed a clothing collection that can be worn in real life as well as in the popular real simulation game called Sims. A fashion brand and a gaming partnership was made between two of the biggest players in the respective industries, and voila. Helsinki Fashion Week was an entirely digital experience, and clothing was made completely in 3D by amazing designers from around the world, many of which you know. And you can even shop for your digital avatar. Even luxury fashion brands are now starting to explore the possibilities of using 3D visualization to their advantage. Many brands are now utilizing the creative freedom that gaming engines and 3D software offer in order to leverage their creativity and wildest fantasies. High fashion brands create couture that often serves as art at the same time. even creating a store environment that has been designed specifically to match the avant-garde look and feel of the garments shown on the runway for that specific collection. Engines like Unreal and Unity Technologies, or software like 3D Studio Max or Clo 3, provide creatives with endless possibilities to create store environments and clothing collections that defy logic and fully capture the creative genius of a designer or a brand. And even the most traditional and conservative sector of the fashion industry is exploring the innovation landscape and discovering the possibilities of moving from physical to digital. You know, when this happens, things are really starting to shift. If you're a dinosaur like me, you might remember that time when you thought you didn't need a cell phone. Well, I think things are changing. In the case of digital and luxury, I want to share some insight from my good friend Amanda Costco from Electric Runway. She'll show us some cool tech changing the fashion landscape. I'm going to share my screen again. Oopsies, 1 second.
Welcome back. My name is Amanda Costco, and I have been reporting on digital culture since 2015, specifically on the many ways technology is transforming the $2.4 trillion fashion industry. So briefly, what is augmented reality? AR, or augmented reality, is the layering of digital components onto our physical reality, often done through a viewing device like a tablet, smartphone, or even AR glasses. Augmented reality is used to enhance or augment the world around us with digital technology. So let's get into some examples of how this exciting new tech is playing out in luxury fashion. So the first thing I want to talk about is augmented reality lenses. Lenses are the perfect way to immerse audiences into your brand and extend physical marketing efforts. And that's exactly what Chanel did. So recently, Chanel hosted a holiday pop-up at the Standard in New York. For 4 days, the French fashion brand transformed the boutique hotel in a busy shopping area into a winter wonderland, complete with hot chocolate, ice skating, and plenty of photo opportunities for Instagram. In addition, Chanel invited attendees to view
Oops. Let's try that again.
A viewing device like a tablet, smartphone, or even AR glasses. Augmented reality is used to enhance or augment the world around us with digital technology. So let's get into some examples of how this exciting new tech is playing out in luxury fashion. So the first thing I want to talk about is augmented reality lenses. Lenses are the perfect way to immerse audiences into your brand and extend physical marketing efforts. And that's exactly what Chanel did. So recently, Chanel hosted a holiday pop-up at the Standard in New York. For 4 days, the French fashion brand transformed the boutique hotel in a busy shopping area into a winter wonderland, complete with hot chocolate, ice skating, and plenty of photo opportunities for Instagram. In addition, Chanel invited attendees to view an augmented reality experience by accessing a lens on Snapchat or downloading an app via Chanel.com. And those at home could also use the lens, which created more access and virality for the campaign. So even if you couldn't be in New York to attend the pop-up, you were invited to view the world through the lens of Chanel, and that was pretty exciting. The next thing I want to talk about is virtual try-ons. This is one of the most exciting and common use cases for augmented reality in fashion. So we've seen many makeup brands jump into this space, including YSL Beauty. In fact, if you're looking for a whole video on augmented retail for the beauty industry, I'll link mine below. But over the years, we've seen examples like French fashion house Dior creating a series of filters for Snapchat and Facebook for trying on accessories such as hat and sunglasses in augmented reality. And similarly, Gucci has launched a feature within its iOS app that enables users to try on its line of Ace sneakers in AR. Both experiences bring people closer to the brands and help them visualize themselves wearing its products. Next, we're going to talk about embedded experiences. So recently, Burberry launched an AR shopping tool through Google search technology. The tool allows consumers to experience Burberry products embedded into their environments around them, which enhances their research and shopping experience online. And this AR experience was actually rolled out in tandem with the opening of Burberry's new retail shop in Tokyo. Once again, this is not meant to be an exhaustive list of everything that has been done in terms of luxury and AR. So if I've missed your favorite example, please share it with us in the comment section below. Don't be shy, we can start a conversation down there. So there's a unique opportunity for augmented reality in fashion, especially right now because shops are closed due to COVID-19 and runway shows are canceled. So what further potentials are there in this space? I want to talk briefly about runway shows, augmented reality mirrors, showrooms, and even windows. So let's get right into that. AR runway shows. So runway shows are already expensive and resource consuming to produce. For a long time in the fashion industry, there's been this question of like, what's the purpose of a fashion show, especially because we have access to everything online right after the show. So an augmented reality runway experience adheres to social distancing rules and invites those who wouldn't normally have access to the front row of a fashion show into the experience. And in that way, it democratizes the runway. And what I'm talking about here isn't just live streams of runway events, because live streaming, of course, has been around for a long time, but augmented reality that actually recreates the looks on holographic or AR models that you can see walk around in your living room. In fact, we're already seeing experimentation in this space. What you're seeing here is the video capturing of British fashion model Adwoa Abdoa, who strutted down the catwalk in augmented reality at London Fashion Week. The 3D imagery experiment was a collaboration between Central St. Martin's and the internet service provider 3. The next opportunity I want to talk about is augmented reality mirrors. So in the future, augmented reality mirrors will help us try on different outfits, discover our personal style, and assist us with online purchases. And while we've seen a number of magic mirror experiences in stores, I'm curious to see how mirrors evolve to help us with everything from working to getting dressed for the day, and they move from retail into the home. The next opportunity I see for augmented reality and luxury is AR showrooms. So we've seen a number of companies experimenting with augmented reality to create a kind of showroom experience. The one that I'm showing here is from Kohl's in collaboration with Snapchat. They teamed up to transform any space into a retail experience. Through the lens on Snapchat, you can enter a Kohl's shopping room. And the question that they posed was, is this shopping in a post-COVID-19 world? The last opportunity I want to talk about is AR windows. So display windows have long been used as a way to showcase recent collections and lure passersby into your store, but augmented reality can add a whole new layer of digital storytelling and interactivity. Augmented reality specialist Helen Papagiannis recently developed this augmented reality activation to show how Louis Vuitton could extend its window displays using augmented reality. If you haven't already checked out Helen's work and her book, I'll include a link below. So now you know more about how luxury retailers are using augmented reality in the fashion industry, and hopefully you're inspired and excited about the possibilities in this space. If you'd like to access the slides I've used in this video, I've left a link to my SlideShare down below. You're also welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn. If you've got a passion for the future of fashion, and clearly you do because you're still here, sign up for our email newsletter. We deliver insights and expertise to your inbox, usually every other Friday. If you like this video, please be sure to subscribe, share it with your network, and check out these videos for more on
And we're back. Wow, Amanda's so great, isn't she? She gives us so many wonderful insights to what's happening in the area of digital fashion. Well, there's one thing that I also would like to talk about is virtual reality and neuroscience. This is really interesting. 3D and virtual reality technologies are accelerating and getting better and better every year. The virtual reality headsets that are omnipresent today are becoming more detailed, more powerful, and more capable. Oculus, like this one here, is the biggest producer of VR goggles in the world and has recently come out with their latest model, the Quest 2. The Quest 2 allows users to ditch their controllers and use their hands. With tiny wide-angle cameras on the outside of the headset, it tracks your hands in the environment of the users, rendering any external sensors and joysticks irrelevant or unneeded. The HTC Vive Pro is the first mass-market VR headset that comes with standard eye tracking, which opens up a world of possibilities for game design studios, companies, and consumers. The prices of these are also falling, so it's accessible to most everybody, less than a cell phone. Now, here's something really radical. Imagine this. You get your VR headset and you enter your favorite digital store. It's really fun and it's really engaging, but it's tracking everywhere you look, how much time you engage with the product. And it also tracks the responses and triggers to your brain. That's right. Imagine what that could do for you if you were a designer or a brand or a store. You can follow consumer movement data to see how your merchandising efforts or design efforts affects the purchasing. You can see what colors of the designs people respond to, what messages they like or they dislike. It's the data come true, a data dream come true, which means it is merging sales, marketing data with pure emotional data from human beings right in front of us. Virtual and extended reality is used with increased frequency in studying the brain of humans. And right now, researchers in neuroscience labs around the world are looking towards unlocking the complexity of our brains. And in the very near future, neuroscientific measurement equipment, say that twice, fast, related to brain activity and response will be readily available and used to gauge responses from customers, companies, brands, colleagues, and more. It might sound very scary, but it will be very useful for many aspects we are trying to find a solution for, whether in the design stage or of a single garment or online shopping. Combining neuroscience with 3D and virtual reality is indeed a very powerful combination that the fashion industry will embrace, hopefully while embedding sustainability, education, and circularity into that model. Imagine if we were to think our way out of this disastrous and destructive old-fashioned model, latent with issues, with one that promotes peace and prosperity with these incredible digital tools. Pretty incredible. Let's talk about AI, artificial intelligence. It's super powerful and it's everywhere, from our everyday apps like Google to the flights we take when we could travel. Did you know that commercial flights can run on AI and help direct a plane to its destination? What if we dedicated this intelligence to, let's say, our shopping or consumption habits, our selling habits, or how about problem solving like zero waste products or zero negative impact solutions for big brands and designers? It could be really, really awesome. Imagine you would no longer have to physically merchandise a complete store by hand, which often takes lots of people and lots of time. It's now possible to have just set the parameters in an algorithm, and by the click of a button, you receive a fully merchandised store and experience digitally and in 3D. You can walk through it, interact with it, and adjust your custom virtual environment. This might sound like an innovation of tomorrow, but as Amanda shows us, it's already here. In fact, at the basis of every fashion brand's transition from physical to digital lies a solid 3D foundation. Building a 3D library of garments will be the new normal, using software like Clo3 or DressX. This will allow for incredible creativity with new collections. And when the 3D library is gone, next comes the store or fashion show environments. Game engines like Unreal or Unity are often used to create store interiors and exteriors, which are either hyper-real or hyper-fantasy or somewhere in between, just like the video games we play, or like the gorgeous Grand Palais we created for the Circular Fashion Summit. Everything can be manipulated. We could all be attending this conference on top of a mountain. It's all possible. The combination of 3D garments and store environments allow companies like Nike and many others to completely digitize their B2B sales process, shifting almost entirely from physical to digital. Nike recognized the value of 3D early on, and they've completely transformed how they do business, cutting out the waste from physical mock-up stores filled with physical samples and their new collection, and the time-consuming merchandising that is all done digitally now. Clean, sustainable, fast, economic, and future-proof. Whether you're communicating internally, creating mock-up stores for merchandising, or you're merchandising your latest collection, the more data that you connect to garments and the collections, the more accurate and effective the algorithm gets. Things like what items should be folded, what color jacket should be in front of the store, what percentage of the assortment needs to be sportswear or shoes. Post-consumer, using blockchain after the garment has been sold, brands can retarget customers and inspire them and incentivize them to keep the item out of landfill for reuse, redesign, or even swapping. The entire industry is moving in a digital direction, embracing advancing innovations and solutions, focusing on saving time. Money has never been more important. Innovative companies dedicated to digitizing the fashion industry are more abundant than ever. We have even innovated swapping with Swapchain. However, there's one last hurdle that stands in the way of all of this amazingness and transformation from physical to digital. It is the fear of transparency and sharing knowledge. The idea of not sharing resources and covering up how things are actually made or how are actually built is how the industry has acted since its inception. It's also part of why the fashion industry has become worth trillions of dollars, even though there's a huge imbalance of power in economics. The fact is, if we aren't willing to collaborate, we will slow down innovation and sustainability of the fashion industry as a whole. In the digital space, there are many initiatives that try to move the needle, but the industry and its key stakeholders who need to embrace innovation and invest in it so we can unlock its full potential and help drive it forward faster. Something I always tell my clients, the more you invest in your own innovation, the better it will be for you and your brand and your company or your store in the long run. As challenging as this last year has been, the silver lining is this: true progress is being made, and together we can dive into the fashion industry and drive it forward into the future, which is regenerative, thriving, full of creativity, with these new frontiers that challenge, inspire, and captivate us in the physical world, and even in your very own digital utopia. Thank you so much. I'm Patrick Duffy, and I hope you enjoyed my little chat, and we will chat soon.
Мы знали, что вам было тесно, поэтому мы создали совершенно другой ММР. Больше контента, больше тем, больше экспертов, больше амбиций, больше влияния. Погрузитесь в диджитал, мобайл, пиар, соушал медиа, дизайн, креатив, маркетинг, медиа, назначение, тренды. Погрузитесь в новый ММР.